Greetings! Mandatory79 here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Cardfight Vanguard Dear Days Part 22. Alright, let's get started. Pressing the A button now.
Cardfight Vanguard Dear Days.
Loading game and proceeding. Here we are on the main menu. Go into Edit Deck menu. And for those of you who watched my previous video, I spent that time testing out the D Trial Deck 02, the Michiru Hazama Demonic Jewel Dragon of 4 Flames. And now in today's video, my next objective is to test out the D Trial Deck 03, Raika Koshiba Skyfall Executors. So let's go on to Edit Deck, entering Edit Deck, and here we are. Like I just mentioned before, in today's video, I'm going to be displaying, explaining, and later testing out the D Trial Deck 03, Raika Koshiba Skyfall Executors. So let's get started. First up, the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s of this deck, we're playing Ride Deck Grade 3, Youth Perk, Protocol Arms, Skills for Skill. Continuous, when this card be rolled upon, it is also regarded as Youth Perk Skyfall Arms. And second skill, Auto, Rebel Dress. As a Vanguard, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked, choose up to one card with Rebel form its card name from your hand and ride it as stand, and it gets drive -2 until end of turn. And third skill, Continuous, as a rear guard. If your Grade 3 or greater Vanguard was placed this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Youth Perk Protocol Arms, it's the main Grade 3 to ride this deck. Its first skill, when this card is written upon, it is also treated as Youth Perk Skyfall Arms. So for this first skill, if you ride Youth Perk Skyfall Arms on top of Protocol Arms, it is treated as a Persona ride. And second skill, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked by choosing a Rebel form card in your hand to ride it stand, drive -2. So as long as you've got a Rebel form in your hand to use a skill, you can, after attacking with your Vanguard Protocol Arms, you can more or less Rebel dress a Rebel form to your Vanguard stand at the cost of drive -2, thus allowing you another Vanguard attack to work with. And the third skill, if you have Protocol farms in your rear guard, when you place a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard on your Vanguard circle, the rear guard Protocol Arms gets plus 5,000 power. So with this third skill, your rear guard Protocol Arms can serve as a 18,000 point attacker all by itself. So for Youth Perk Protocol Arms, we got 4 in the deck, 1 to ride deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 3 Youth Perk Rebel Form Zest. Skills for Skill Auto. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle by the Rebel Dress ability, until the end of the turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 power, and if you have Persona rolled this turn, it gets plus 1 critical. And second skill, Auto, as a Vanguard. At the end of your turn, choose a card with the Rebel Dress ability from your soul and ride it as Rest. So for Rebel Form Zest, it's one of the Rebel Form cards meant to be played in this deck. The first skill, when Rebel form onto your Vanguard, it gets plus 15,000 power, and if you had Persona rolled beforehand, it gets plus 1 critical. So this first skill is an offensive skill meant to either pressure or finish off your opponent. And the second skill, it's more or less a end of the turn skill. If you had Rebel formed, Rebel dress the Rebel form Zest on that turn, at the end of the turn, you get to take one of the more or less the Youth Perk non-Rebel form cards from your soul and ride to your Vanguard stand, thus securing you a Vanguard that can once again Rebel dress in your next turn. So for Zest, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s this deck, we're playing Ride Deck Grade 2, Knight of Ardent Light Youth. Skills for Skill Auto. When this unit is written upon by a unit with the Rebel Dress ability, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost been paid, choose a Grade 2 or greater card from your drop zone and put it into your hand. And second skill, Auto, as a Vanguard or rear guard. When this unit is boosted, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost been paid, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of battle. So for Knight of Ardent Light Youth, it's the main Grade 2 to ride this deck. The first skill, when you ride a Vanguard with the Rebel Dress ability on top of it, by paying a Counterblast of 1, you have the chance to take any Grade 2 or higher card from your drop zone to add to your hand. Thus, with this first skill, it's a good way to secure yourself a potential front row attacker or a Rebel Dress to use later in your battle phase. And the second skill, whenever you attack with your rear guard or Vanguard Youth, if you boosted it from the back row, by paying it a Soul Blast of 1, it gets plus 5,000 power. So ideally, with the standard great ones you normally use to boost your front row and the back row, you can make this skill will make you a potential 23,000 point attacker with the boosting unit from the back row. So for Knight of Ardent Light Youth, we got one the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2. Eternalized Mage, skill, action as a rear guard once per turn. If you have a Vanguard of Youth Bird in its card name, cost, counterblast 2. If the cost is paid, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So for Internalized Mage, as long as you've got a Youth Bird Vanguard, by paying the cost of counterblast 2, it'll get power, making Internalize a potential 20,000 point attacker all by itself. So for Internalized Mage, we got 4 in the deck, leaving that way. Next up, the Grade 2, Knight of Partings, Loiger, skill, auto as a rear guard. When your Vanguard is placed by the Rebel Dress ability, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So for Loiger, it's a support card for the Youth Bird decks. Just by having Loiger in your rear guard, whenever you Rebel Dress, by paying a counterblast of 1, you can give plus 10,000 power to your rear guard Loiger, making Loiger a potential 20,000 point attacker for the front row as long as you manage your Rebel Dress in that turn. So for Loiger, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2. Starting as Dragon, skill, auto. When this unit intercepts, if you have a card with Rebel form in the card name in your soul, this unit gets plus 10,000 shield until end of battle. So for Starting as Dragon, it's another support card for the Youth Bird decks. When you choose to intercept with a Starting as Dragon, as long as you've got a Rebel form card in your soul, Starting as Dragon can serve as a potential 15,000 point shield all by itself. So for Starting this Dragon, you got 3 in the deck, leaving that way. Next up, the Grade 2, Knight of Piercing, Catwalla, skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit attack the Vanguard. If you have 4 more units, cost, Soul Blast 1 to retire this unit. If the cost is paid, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Grade 2 or greater unit card from among them, and reveal it and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you do not reveal a card, draw a card. So for Catwalla, is a pretty decent card to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks, especially with this trial deck. Its skill, just by at the end of the battle that your Catwalla attack the Vanguard, regardless of hits or not, as long as you've got 4 more units in your field, by paying the cost of Soul Blasting 1 and retreating Catwalla from your rear guard, you have the chance to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and to later add a Grade 2 or greater card from your deck to your hand. If no cards are revealed, you draw a card instead. So Catwalla is a good way to increase your hand size to either secure a Grade 2 or higher card, or simply by drawing a card if the no Grade 2 or greater is revealed by the skill. So for Catwalla, we got 2 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2, Normal Order, Skyfall Fury, skill, order, play with a counterblast of 1 if you have a Vanguard of the Rebel Dress ability. If the cost is paid, search your deck for up to 1 Youth Bird Rebel Form Zest and reveal it and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. So for Skyfall Fury, it's an order card meant to be supported for the Youth Bird decks. Its skill, as long as you can meet the cost and conditions, you can search your deck for a Rebel Form Zest and add to your hand, securing yourself a Rebel Form to Rebel Dress later in your battle phase. So for Skyfall Fury, we got 2 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we're playing Ride Deck, Grade 1, determined to break away Youth. Skills for skill, continuous as a Vanguard rear guard. During the battle this unit attacked, this unit gets plus 2,000 power. And second skill, auto. Hold on. Skill auto, when this unit is ridden upon by Knight of Ardent Light Youth, cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card of the Youth Bird in its card name from among them and reveal it and put it into your hand, or choose up to 1 Grade 2 or less unit from among them and call to rear guard circle and put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. So for Determined to Break Away Youth, it's the main Grade 1 to run its deck. Its first skill, as a Vanguard or rear guard, as long as your Youth has managed to attack for the rest of that turn, it can serve as a 10,000 point attacker for that turn. So for the second skill, when you ride Knight of Ardent Light Youth on top of Determined to Break Away Youth, by paying the cost of Soul Blast 1, you have the chance to check the top 3 cards of your deck for a potential Youth Bird card to Persona Ride with, or to Rebel Dress with, or a Grade 2 or less unit to Superior calls your rear guard to attack or boost with. So the second skill can either secure you a Persona Ride, Rebel form, or a Grade 2 or less attacker or booster. So for Determined to Break Away Youth, we got 1 the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1, Life-Saving Angel, Cure Bell, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills for skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may have only up to 4 cards of Continuous Sentinel on deck. Second skill, auto. When this unit is put in a Guardian Circle, discard a card from your hand. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units. It cannot be hit until end of battle. So for Curabell, it's a perfect guard for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discard a card from your hand, you can block one enemy attack. So for Curabell, we got 4 in the deck, leaving that way. Next up, the Great One, Witch of Revocation, Factile, Skill Auto. When this card be discarded from your hand during your right phase, you may call this card to the rearguard circle. So for Factile, it's a pretty decent card to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks. Its skill, when it's used to pay for a right deck cost, you can call to rearguard instead. Thus, if you're fortunate to have Factile in your hand when it's time to ride from your right deck, when using Factile as the right deck cost, instead of going to the drop zone, you can call to the rearguard instead, securing yourself a 6,000 point rearguard to either boost from the back row or attack with, depending on how you want to use it. So for Factile, we got 4 in the deck, leaving that way. And next up, the Great Zero lineup. For the Great Zeros in this deck, we're playing right deck, Great Zero, Youthful Following in Footsteps Youth, Skill Auto. When this unit is ridden upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Youth, it's the starting unit in this deck. It's skill just by riding atop win. If you went second, you get to draw a card. So for Youth, you got 1 the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we're playing Great Zero, Volition, Rigor Dragon, Critical Trigger. We're playing 4 in the deck, leaving that way. Next up, the Great Zero, Archmia, Draw Trigger. Playing 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. The Great Zero, Resolute Mage, Front Trigger. Playing the 3 in the deck, leaving it that way. The Great Zero, Recuperate Angel, Heal Trigger. Playing 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. And next up, the Great Zero, Spiritual King of Determination, Olbaria. Skill, trigger, additional effect. Choose one of your units and it gets 100 million power until the end of turn. So for Olbaria, it's a neutral over trigger to be played in any nation in the D standard format. Like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card. But it also features an ability unique to it alone. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can choose one of your units, a Vanguard or Rearguard, and give it 100 million power until the end of turn. So for this second skill, you can give an additional 100 million power. So for Olbaria, with its skill and its own over trigger effect, you have the chance to give 2 units on your field 100 million power, or a single unit 200 million, depending on how you want to split or combine the added power. So for Olbaria, we got 1 the deck, leaving that way. And of that, the deck's been built, Cardiff's explained. So let's get on to testing out the deck. So first off, the cards in this deck we're playing: 4 Grade 3 Youthbert Protofall Arms, 1 Grade 2 Knight of Ardent Light Youth, 1 Grade 1 Determined to Break Away Youth, 1 Grade 0 Youth Following in Footsteps Youth starting unit, 4 Grade 3 Youthbert Rebel Form Zest, 4 Grade 2 Internalized Mage, 4 Grade 2 Knight of Partings Loiger, 3 Grade 2 Stardiness Dragon, 2 Grade 2 Knight of Piercing Catwalla, 2 Grade 2 Skyfall Fury, 4 Grade 1 Witch of Revocation Factile, and 4 Grade 1 Life-Saving Angel Curabell. And for the triggers in this deck, we're playing 4 Critical Triggers, 4 Draw Triggers, 3 Front Triggers, 4 Heal Triggers, and 1 Over Trigger Olbaria. Alright, deck has been built, card effects explained, so let's get on to testing out the deck. So leaving the edit deck menu, return to main menu, go into fight menu, CPU fight, and now choosing the deck I just explained and showed off to you, the D Trial Deck 03. And now selecting an opponent. Alright, who would be a good opponent to test this deck out on? Okay, I'm gonna test it out on Yu Kondo, normal difficulty. And the battle begins. Let's get started. Alright, deciding who goes first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock to rock one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper to scissors, I lose, going second. Alright. Drawing our starting hands. Okay, I got 2 criticals, a heal, a draw, and a sturdiness. Alright, not a good hand, okay. I'll hold on to sturdiness to secure it as a front row attacker later, so I'll just send all the triggers back to my deck. Redraw. Okay, not bad. I got Youth, an order card, and 2 Great 2s. Okay. My opponent rides the Great 1, Blazeman and Reno. Right, it's my turn. I draw. I'm gonna ride for my right deck, determined to break away Youth. For the right deck cost, let's see. I should hold on to Protocol Arms to Persona right with, and the order card to secure a Rebel form with, and then let's see. Okay, then I should either discard the draw trigger or one of these Great 2s, Stardiness, Internalize, or Cadwalla. Okay, I guess I'll ditch the draw trigger for the right deck cost, secure the Great 2s to use their skills later. Right, determined to break away Youth. Youth following in footsteps Youth skill, I draw a card. I drew another draw trigger, okay. Alright, this is what I can do for now, so go into battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, skill plus 2000 power, drive check. Heal trigger, okay, trigger effect wasted. Nothing to heal, so just add power. 1 damage, pierce, damage check. Critical trigger, yes, he wasted a trigger. And trigger effects wasted. Alright, that's the end of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent's riding the Great 2, Blazeman and Ryu. Reno's skill, he superior calls Trickstar to the rear guard. And now he's overdressing Virina and Toressa and Mirin, okay. He's attacking the rear guard first, Toressa, okay. His Vanguard will attack with 12,000 power and Virina will attack with 20,000, so I guess I'll try to block the first attack and let the next 2 go through. I guard with a heal trigger, so 23,000 power in total. Attack blocked. Safe. And now here comes my opponent's next attack from the Vanguard. 12,000 power to my Vanguard. No guard, let it go through. Here comes my opponent's drive check. She gets no trigger, safe, so 1 damage. Ow. Damage check. Over trigger, okay. 100 million power to the Vanguard. I drew a card, sturdiness, and no damage. My opponent cannot attack anymore, so it's my turn. Standard draw. I'm gonna ride for my right deck, Knight of Ardent Light Youth. And let's see, my Great 1 skill. When I ride the Great 2 on top of him, I can search my deck for a Youth Bird, okay. Then I'm gonna ride and pay the right deck cost. Let's see. I gotta hold on to the Protocol Arms to Persona right with and the order card to possibly secure a Rebel form, so I gotta discard either the Great 2s or the triggers. Okay, then I guess I'll just ditch a draw trigger, hold on to my front row attackers and the critical to guard with. Ditch the draw trigger for the right deck cost. Right, Youth. Skill of determined to break away Youth. I Soul Blast 1 and search the top 3 cards of my deck for a Youth Bird. Nothing, so skill failed. Instead, I'm gonna superior call. Let's see. Knight of Partings, Loiger to the rear guard, call, and put the rest in the bottom of the deck. Next up, I'm calling Stardiness Dragon to the rear guard. Okay, that's all I can do for the time being. So go into battle phase. First up, Stardiness attacks the rear guard Virina, 10,000 power. Yes, 1 rear guard down. Next up, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 10,000 power. Alright, drive check. No trigger, another Protofall. 1 damage to my opponent, pierce, and damage check. No trigger, safe. And okay, 1 more attack. Loiger attacks the Vanguard, 10,000 power. My opponent intercepts. Attack blocked. Okay. So that's the end of my turn, I guess. So now it's my opponent's turn. My opponent's going to ride the grade 3. Chakra Baki Divine Dragon Nirvana. Ryu skills. He searches his deck for Virina and adds a hand. Okay. Now what's my opponent going to do? She activates Nirvana's skill to Superior Call Trickstar to the rear guard and overdresses Virina again and calls another Teresa. Okay. Vanguard the Vanguard. Here comes Nirvana's skill, adding power to the Vanguard and Virina. Okay, I got 0 damage. I can afford to take some hits, so no guard. Here comes Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, safe, and second check. No trigger, safe. And now here comes 1 damage. Ow! Damage check. Front trigger, yes! Power to the front row. Now attack from Virina. Virina's skill, add another 10,000 power. Is he gonna Soul Blast to retire my rear guard? Yep, he's activating it to retire Loiger. Okay. No guard, take the hit. And here comes the fifth. Ow! Damage check. No trigger. Okay. 2 damage. So that's the end of my opponent's turn. My turn. Stand and draw. Okay. I'm gonna ride for my right deck. Youthbert Protocol Arms for the right deck cost. Let's see. My grade 2 is a chance to let me search superior call a grade 2 or greater from the drop zone. So I guess I can afford to. I guess I should hold on to the trigger to guard with and the grade 3s to Persona ride with, and the order card to secure a Rebel Form Zest, so I can superior call a grade 2 or less card. Okay, then I guess I'll ditch one of the grade 2s in my hand, a Stardiness Dragon. Right, Youthbert Protocol Arms, skill of the grade 2, Knight of Ardent Light Youth, Counterblast 1, superior call a grade 2 or less. From my drop zone, I superior call Knight of Partings Loiger or Stardiness Dragon. I got a Loiger in my hand, so I'm just gonna call Stardiness for defense later on. Calling Stardiness, I activate the order card, Skyfall Fury. I counterblast 1 and search my deck for Youthbert Rebel Form Zest and add it to my hand. There we go. Okay, I think that's it. That's all I can do for the time being. Go into battle phase. First up, my rearguard Sturdiness attacks Virina, 10,000 power. The attack goes through, nice. 1 rearguard down. And next up, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 13,000 power. The attack goes through, Twin Drive, first check. Yes, front trigger, just what I needed. Power to the front row. And second check. No trigger, another Zest, nice. 1 damage to my opponent. Here comes the swords, pierce, and damage check. No trigger, nice. Now activating Youthbert's skill. I Rebel Dress from my hand. I'm using Youthbert Rebel Form Zest for the Rebel Dress. And Zest skill, plus 15,000 power. There we go. And okay, next up, Sturdiness attacks the Vanguard, 20k. My opponent doesn't guard. Pierce, 1 damage. Damage check. No, not the over trigger, come on! Alright, can attack the Vanguard, so I'll just attack the rear guard. 28k. 1 rear guard down. Alright, that's the end of my turn. Zest re-superiorize Protofall from my soul. Returning Protofall to my Vanguard. End of turn. My opponent's going to call the Grade 3 Damari, Sonya, and Mirin, okay? Rear guards attack the Vanguard. Okay, he has enough counterblast to activate Nirvana's skill, so I should let the Vanguard go through, so I guess I'll just block the rear guard first, so I'll guard the front trigger, 28k. Attack blocked. Safe. And now here comes an attack from the Vanguard, using the skill to add power to the Vanguard. 23k to the Vanguard. No guard, gonna let it go through. And Twin Drive first check. No, not a heal trigger, come on! He heals the damage and adds power, okay. And second check. Ah, critical, come on! Double trigger, heal and critical. Critical to Van and power to rear guard, so now it's 2 damage to me. Here it comes. The fire falls down and out. Damage check first. Draw trigger, yes! Power to Vanguard, draw a card. I drew a front trigger, okay. And second check. Heal trigger, yes! Just what I needed. Heal 1 point of damage, power to Vanguard. Effects added to Vanguard. Yeah, that was close. The rear guard attacks the Vanguard. The rear guard skill. At the end of the battle, it attacked. It can pay the cost to retire a rear guard and superior call grade 0. He has enough cost, so he's gonna retire one of my rear guards anyway, so I'm just gonna use him to intercept. I intercept with Stardiness Dragon. Skill of Stardiness. Activate its skill to add another 10,000 shield. Attack blocked. Safe. Is he gonna use his skill? Nope, not gonna use the skill, so stand and draw. A draw trigger, okay. I Persona Ride, Youth Burst Protocol Arms to the Vanguard. Persona Ride and draw a card. Critical, not good. Okay, then I'm calling to the rear guard. Okay, then I'm going to call... Let's see, I got a Stardiness in my front row to intercept with, so I guess I'll superior. I got 2 counter blasts, so okay, then I'm gonna call Knight of Parting's Loiger to the rear guard. Call. That's enough for the time being, so just go to battle phase. First up, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. The attack goes through. Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, perfect guard, nice. And second check. No trigger, Protocol Arms, another Persona Ride. So here it comes, 1 damage. The swords rain down and pierce. Damage check. No trigger, nice. Now activating Youth Burst skill. I Revel Dress from my hand. Youth Burst, Revel Form Zest. Plus power and plus critical since I Persona Ride this turn. Power and critical added. And next up, I activate Loiger's skill. Counterblast 1 to add 10,000 power to Loiger. Okay, next up, my rear guard Stardiness attacks the rear guard Damari. 1 rear guard down. Now Loiger attacks the Vanguard, 30k. The attack goes through, slash, damage check, no trigger, safe. And now Zest attacks the Vanguard, 38k, 2 crits. He double guards. The attack is blocked. So my attack fails, so that's the end of my turn. Protocol Arms goes back to the Vanguard. Protocol Arms back to the Vanguard, and that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. He's going straight to battle phase. Okay. Nirvana skill, adding power. Okay, let's see. I have 3 damage and tons of cards to guard with. There's still a chance my opponent can double critical me. Better play it safe, so I'll just perfect guard the Vanguard attack. Perfect guard. And for the perfect guard cost, I'm gonna discard... I guess I'll hold on the triggers to guard with and the grade 3 to Persona Ride with, so I'll just ditch one of the grade 2s. I'll ditch Internalized Mage. Perfect guard, activate. Now here comes my opponent's Twin Drive. First check. Ah, front trigger. Power the front row and second check. Ah, critical trigger, come on, double trigger again? How can you get so lucky? Alright, here comes an the next attack. The rear guard will attack with a total of 36,000 power and 2 criticals. Okay, I better play it safe. I'm going to intercept with starting this dragon. Skill plus another 10,000 shield. And then I'm going to guard with a critical trigger. Total 43k. Attack blocked. Safe. And next up, end of turn, my turn, stand and draw. Yes, Rival Form Zest, just what I needed. I Persona Ride, Protofall Arms. Persona Ride, draw a card, add power, a critical, not good. Alright, I'm calling Catwalla to the rear guard, call. And then I'm gonna call to the rear guard, let's see. What would be a good choice? I'll call the draw trigger to the back row to boost my Vanguard. And okay, Catwalla says I need to have at least 4 units in my field, including Vanguard. So I got 4. I just filled the base requirement. So this is enough for now. Going to battle phase. My Vanguard unboosted attacks the Vanguard, 23k. My opponent double guards, 48k. No cards to pass, first check. No trigger. And second check. No trigger, okay. So my attack is blocked. Now I activate Protofall Arms' skill. I Rebel Dress from my hand. I'm gonna Rebel Dress. Ufert, Rebel Form, Zest. Rebel Dress. Power added, and skill of Zest, plus power and plus critical. Power and critical added. And next I activate Loiger's skill. Counterblast, plus another 10,000 power. Power added. Okay, next up, my Vanguard boosted by Armsia attacks the Vanguard, 43k, 2 crits. Will he guard? He perfect guards, not good. Okay, he discards a critical for the cost, alright. The attack is blocked. And now next up, Catwalla attacks the Vanguard, 20k. He guards the front trigger, attack fail. Okay. Then Catwalla's skill. I Soul Blast 1 and retreat Catwalla from my rear guard. Skill activated. I take a grade 2 or higher card from my deck to add to hand. I take, let's see, starting this dragon, add to hand. And now Loiger attacks the Vanguard, 30k. 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger, perfect guard, nice. So that's the end of my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. Wait, Zest skill, replace my Vanguard with Protofall Arms from the Soul. 1 Protofall. And that's the end of my turn, my opponent's turn. Oh man, he Persona rides. Nirvana. Adding power, draw a card, okay. Okay, here comes the Vanguard attack. Skill of Nirvana, adding more power, okay. Okay, this is a tough choice. The rear guard will tap 26k later. I'm at 3 damage, so I got a bunch of cards to guard with, so I need some counterblast, so I'll take the risk, let my opponent's Vanguard go through. Their twin drive, press check. No trigger, safe, and second check. No trigger, safe, 1 damage. Here comes Nirvana's attack. The fire comes down and ow! Damage check. No trigger, okay. Now here comes the next attack. 26k. Let's see, the grade 2 skill. Nothing to worry about. The grade 1 skill. Nothing to worry about, so just let the attack go through, no guard. Ow! Damage check. Heal trigger. Kinda late though, trigger effect wasted, nothing, unable to heal, just add power. So that's the end of my opponent's turn. My turn, stand and draw. I Persona Ride, Ufert, Protofall Arms. Persona Ride, draw a card. Okay, perfect guard, not bad. I activate order card, Skyfall Fury. Skyfall Fury then lets me search my deck for Rebel Form Zest. I got one left in the deck, add it to hand. Next up, I'm calling to the rear guard. I guess I'll call... Sturdiness, or I'm calling Cadwalla to the rear guard. Call. My opponent has 3 cards left in the hand. I can have the chance to finish this, so I'm just gonna call some great zeros to boost, calling a critical trigger to boost Loiger, and calling a front trigger to boost Cadwalla. Alright, that should be enough. Go into battle phase. My Vanguard unboosted attacks the Vanguard, 23k. He double guards, 33. Intercepts, 38. 2 to pass. 2 to drive for his check. Yes, heal trigger. I heal 1 damage and give all effects to Loiger. Okay, and second check. No trigger, alright. The attack is blocked. Now activating Protoform Arms' skill. I Rebel Dress from my hand. From my hand, I Rebel Dress, Youth Burt, Rebel Form Zest, Rebel Dress, power added, and Zest's skill. I add power and critical to my Vanguard. And Loiger's skill, Counterblast 1, plus 10,000 power to Loiger. Okay, that should do it. Now boosted by Armcia. Zest attacks the Vanguard, 43k, 2 criticals. Yes, the attack goes through, and here comes the finishing blow. My spear thrusts down, and damage check. No trigger, alright, 6 damage, I win. Not too bad, the trial deck worked pretty well. I managed to activate my Rebel Forms and Rebel Dress multiple times this whole fight, so I got win, double trigger, drew 4 more heal triggers, attacked 40,000 more power, perfect guarded, drew an over trigger, opponent drew an over trigger, did a Persona Rite, 10 turns passed, did a superior call, and retired 5 more opposing units. I got 4350 VP, total 20,375 VP, press A to go next. Returning to the fight menu, leaving the fight menu, returning to main menu, and going back to edit deck menu. And with that, the deck has been built, card effects explained, and I just finished testing out the deck in front of you. And with that, that's all the time we have for today. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all soon.